Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah.
All right, people. This is Positive Alteration School podcast. And as you know, the focus is basically how we can help you to become a better version of yourself. So I say, welcome to the show. In this show, we explore behaviors and how the behavior of people shape their results and how single decisions can sometimes change everything.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we're using this room. So no matter what happens, just have fun. Today I'm joined by George. George is a man whose story spans continents, crisis. I read his story and I said, man. And in his life, there's been constant reinvention from engineering across Africa, almost challenging regions to many times in challenging regions and places. And he's tried to rebuild his life from time to time, and he's never given up. You hear his fascinating story. He's now in the UK, and George's journey reminds us, all of us, including me, as to how we think, speak, and act under pressure, and how these actions that we take determine the doors that open and the ones that stay shut. This is a conversation about courage, communication, and what happens when you finally speak up. So, George, it's great to have you here.
Good to have you, man.
Welcome. So, let me start with, who is George? Just tell them.
George.
Yes.
Well, I'm just a simple guy, a humble guy by all means, and I'm a mechanical engineer by profession.
Okay.
I trained for and practiced doing pressed steel tanks for water storage, both elevated and ground level ones.
Okay.
It's just basically for water supply for either domestic or industrial use. Yeah, and that was in Africa.
Okay.
So it's not a common kind of field here in the UK. So when I came in, I had to diversify. So I moved from that to now doing cars. But yeah, right now I'm a mechanic, which is still under the mechanical engineering part.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, so we are there. I'm also a podcaster.
Yes, he's a podcaster, honey. It's a very interesting podcast, very funny one. George looks quiet and very soft-spoken, but trust me, it's beautiful to be in his space.
Yeah.
So, George,
Yeah.
I know I was coming from Africa.
Yes.
When we see motor vehicle mechanics,
Yes.
and what you see here in the UK,
Yes.
is there any difference?
Oh man, it is. I'll start by just the way people see you. In Africa, mechanics are really not respected. They are looked as crooks and people who are just trying to go by in life.
Yes.
Yes, but over here it's a bit different because it's a very respectable profession and
Really?
yes, and pays very well, and as always has very few people in it.
So if you're in Africa, anywhere, and you're a mechanic all the way to the UK,
just find yourself.
It pays very well.
I promise you will not regret.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Back in the day, I used to have a few mechanics. You know, when you have motor vehicle mechanics,
Yes.
and sometimes the stories can be funny.
Yeah.
But then when you have some that are really reliable, you always want to go there.
Yes.
Your car breaks down anywhere, you call wherever you are.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't come there. Is there a way they can tow it down? Or if it's just you, I will bring it down.
Yes.
And then one day you get to the shop and they said he's no longer there. What happened? He's gone to the US.
Yes.
Or he's gone to the UK.
Yes.
And you say, man, so how do I find another one?
Finding another one is the problem now.
Yes.
Because in the process of finding others now, that's where you will be hitting rocks.
Whoa.
You just need a honest mechanic. And your life would be very easy.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I
Yeah.
know that from first-hand experience.
Yeah.
You get the wrong ones, you would regret having a car.
Yes.
You would regret having
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah.
By moving over here to the UK, I see that everything is organized.
Yes.
You know, the car system. Your cars don't break down. Of course, the system, the
Yeah.
road, and everything. They
Yeah.
also help.
Yes.
Back home,
Yeah.
your car needs to be tough to survive.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. Even with the knocking from other cars,
Oh,
there are more
dear.
accidents and all that. Yeah. So
Ah.
it contributes a lot to things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, you have lived and worked across some of the most complex regions in Africa. Yes, man. When I read your story, I said, man.
Yes.
So how has that shaped the way you communicate with people today?
It means that me walking through different countries, especially in Africa, has helped me in a way that when it comes to communication, you get to understand culture, you get to understand how people talk to each other. You think they are fighting, but they are not fighting, they're just communicating, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
There are people that don't like shouting. There are people that if you don't communicate to them through shouting, it's not working. You understand? So I've been to places like Somalia. You have to shout.
Really?
Yes. You have to be aggressive.
Can you give an example? I'm curious.
When you're talking to people in Somali, the only way that they assert respect is through being aggressive, because weapons are very easy to find and they are very much available. And from their culture, that is the way they communicate. You would think they are like they just shouting, but they are just communicating to each other. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's something that grows in you. I worked in Somali for a period of 6 years.
6 years.
Yes.
And you're still calm.
Yes, I've also worked in South Sudan. The first time I went to South Sudan, a place called Rumbek. We were doing a project with the UNHCR.
Okay.
So the day we landed, we were brought in by bus from the airport, and guys were rushing into the bus. We were like, "What's wrong with you? We've come here to make money. Why are you running back?"
Yeah.
But we soon came
to realize
why people were running back.
Yes.
Because you couldn't sleep at night. They are just gunshots all through and through and through. Even when they are celebrating football, somebody scores a goal and they are shooting in the air. You're like, I've never seen this. But now you are seeing it firsthand.
Yes. It reminds me too of a bit of my childhood.
Yes.
I grew up in Nigeria, in a place called, in Nigeria, Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt.
Yes, somewhere around. And Port Harcourt River State is oil rich. Port Harcourt, its environment, the communities around oil rich.
Yes.
And then due to some leadership issues, politics and all of that, things went out of hand. You had gangs here and there. It got so bad to a point where when you hear gunshots, you cringe if you're not used to gunshots. But it got so bad to a point where as kids, when we hear gunshots, the question we ask, what gun was that? What was that? Was that an AK-47? That sounded like an AK-47. I'm telling you. See, your sensitivity gets numbed over time. There's a gunshot and people are running and you just feel, well, there just might be another 2-3 gunshots before the day runs out. There's a fight, and instead of you to run away as a kid, that there's a fight, you're running to go and see what is going to happen, which faction is going to defeat which faction. That's the thing you get to see. And I give it, for me, growing up as a kid, I give it to my dad. he did a lot to protect us from those things. But as a young man, you want to see things.
Yeah.
But back to that point you were saying about gunshots.
Yeah.
You get numb.
Yeah.
You feel like, what was that? Was that an AK-47? It sounded more like an AK-47.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's an AK-47. I mean, we're having this stupid conversation about guns.
Yeah.
So, and I know South Sudan is worse than what I'm describing, maybe. Yeah. What was it like? I'm imagining for kids growing up in places like that.
Yeah.
So how long did you stay there?
South Sudan, I stayed for about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where else did life take you to?
Life took me to the DRC, Lubumbashi.
Somalia to Sudan to the DRC. So that's a Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes. Yeah, I did a project there. There is a sugar factory we were building up. I finished it. I went to Mbarara, Uganda.
Okay.
Finished something. I went to Dar es Salaam, did a project with Coca-Cola. Then I worked at 2 main refugee camps in Kenya. That is the Dadaab refugee camp and the Kakuma refugee camp. It just hosts a lot of nations from East Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, from Eritreans to even Ugandans are there. Even a bit of Tanzanians, but Ethiopians are also there, South Sudanese, Somali, guys from Congo, because there is always war. Even now guys from North Sudan, there's plenty of people there. Like it has about, Kakuma has about 1 million refugees.
So you have seen humans live at very low levels.
Very low level, extremely low level.
And I know that your dad, you grew up with a father
Yes.
in the army.
Yes.
And a mother that transitioned across different disciplines and walks of life.
Yeah.
How has that framed or formed your behavioral pattern and your discipline, your adaptability, your resilience? How has that affected built you up?
My dad was a disciplinarian, a good one when it comes to beating. In Africa...
resetting.
Resetting is the one. When it comes to resetting in Africa, resetting is different from what happens here.
Yeah.
So over there, if they are resetting you, they really do a thorough job. So my dad was very good at that. But my mom was more of a, how do we call it? She was a special schools teacher.
Oh, yes. Interesting.
She used to teach a school for the blind first. So there she used to teach maths and all that, communication skills, things like that. Then she moved from there, became an accountant. You understand?
Yeah.
So she moved from whatever that cocoon was. But you remember, she still had those mindset of a teacher.
Okay.
So she would be the one that would teach us a lot of stuff in the house. And when it comes to education, she would be the one that would be hands-on. It wasn't easy, especially with her, because her style of punishment wasn't beating, but we feared her more than the dad.
Yes. Yes.
We feared her more than the dad, because her discipline was more, I would say, mental and emotional. You would just sit at a corner and carry your dining chair for an hour or so. If you bring your hand down, you start again. So if she says 45 minutes, your hand has to be up with the chair for 45 minutes. If it goes down like this, you start again. Another 45 minutes. She'd just be doing her stuff. She'd eat.
Tormenting you.
Yes. But you will eat.
Yes.
Eating is a must. Everybody must eat.
Yes.
But that was her way of disciplining us. And I think it shaped me a lot when it came to how I relate with people, because we also used to live with a lot of relatives. You know, back in Africa, somebody is born from, I would say we were a bit privileged, but we had relatives who maybe were not that privileged at that time.
Sure.
And normally, all relatives look up to you if you're a bit privileged. So we would live with a lot of cousins. They would just come. And we were treated equally.
Equally.
You understand?
All right.
So life was just interesting. So that shaped my character.
Good. So what you're saying is your dad was a military man.
Yes.
However, your mom did different moves, transitions.
Yes.
But she had a way. So you were exposed to two ways of discipline.
Yes.
One was really frontal.
Yes,
you get things done. You get it direct, physical resetting.
Yeah.
While you have your mom applied the mental, emotional resetting.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And all of that molded you.
Yes, all of that molded me.
I think that it does really work.
Yeah.
In my case, I know my father used to do that. It's a corporal punishment.
Yeah.
But as I started growing up at some point, I became hardened. And I felt, well, you know what? It's the punishment. So what's up?
Yeah.
Then he changed his pattern.
Yeah.
His pattern was more, I'm not talk about my mom, because my mom was emotional always. She was always trying to get you to see how what you do, what you are doing affects her. And that really heaps a burden on you. My father didn't have the time for that. He was like, this is nonsense. I'm not going to accept it. Home, stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to deal with you straight away. At some point, as a young man, I became, I would say hardened, or I became insensitive to, I didn't respond. Let me use that. I didn't respond to the corporal ways of getting things done.
Yeah.
Then there was one other thing my father was doing which bored me to death. That was talking. Father sits me down and then talks to me as a young man.
Yeah.
You see, when the things you do, and then he lays out the possible consequences.
Yes.
And at that point, I am impatient. I'm becoming impatient to the teeth.
You are like,
I'm like, just do what you need to do and let me get out of this place.
Yeah.
But when I got into the higher institution, and I was exposed to, I had a lot of freedom. You know, the way in Africa, you live with your parents, you get things done, and then you go to school. Your parents still want you to go from the home. They want to monitor whatever you're doing. But at some point, you say, no, I have to leave in school. I have to stay on my own. That's where I broke out. But there were times when you get to a point where you want to make a decision where you might do something stupid.
Yes.
You don't remember the physical punishment and all of that, but you remember the sayings, the talk.
Yes.
I keep hearing my father's voice, laying out the possible consequences.
Yeah.
And for me, that was more powerful.
Yes.
You know, because I remembered them.
Yeah.
And they shaped my life, even up till date. I can really imagine, I can really marry what you're saying, identify with what you're saying. You talked about working in Kenya.
Yes.
There's a border between Somalia and Kenya.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, when you worked in Kenya, what was it like? The border, the relationship between Kenya, Somalia, and how did that affect even the way you operated, where you had responsibilities, how you took out your responsibilities, you carried out your responsibilities? How did that affect all of that?
So there is just across the border, the Kenya-Somali border, there is a place called Mandera. It's called the Triangle for a reason. It's called the Triangle because one side is Kenya, then the other side is Somali, and the other side is Ethiopia.
Okay.
Right?
And they're all tough countries.
And they're all tough countries. And then somehow they speak a language that is almost similar. They have relatives all across, right?
Yeah.
Now, with Somali, for me now, working a lot with them, I had to learn their language. That's something that I did a lot.
Okay.
When I go somewhere, I start learning the language. So as to communicate or know what they are saying.
Yeah.
Because Somali is not a child's play area, right? People get abducted, people disappear on the other side. So it's not a place where if you're weak, you would be. But the good thing is that people who used to give us contracts there, the only people that had the contracts are people that are known to the community.
Okay.
So if they know you are working for so and so, they will not touch you. That so and so will make sure that they spread word that my people are working. Don't touch them.
Okay.
And that's how we used to survive.
So was there any time your life was, you felt this might just be the end?
Yes.
Did you feel at any point like you felt your life going off, feeling?
Yeah,
I don't
know if I should say this on camera, but there is a time we were working. I was just doing my project at a small site, because where we work for constructions, we just call them sites. It's just standard. And the Al-Shabaab came.
Okay.
And they asked, "What are you guys doing here?" And now the most senior person there that would be answerable to them was me.
Okay.
So I went to them. I tried to explain, because we were doing a water project that is helpful to their community. When it comes to the Somali, they go through a lot, because their place it's a very dry area.
Okay.
So from there, we exchanged some words, and they asked for some money, and we gave out the money, and then they left. Later in the evening, the police came and asked us about them. Then they went towards their way. And then the next day in the morning, they came back. They came back. No, the Al-Shabaab guys now. The police brought them back, but they were not alive. And the cars had bullet holes. Their cars had bullet holes, and they were pulling them towards the police station. Later that evening, since we were working closer to the police station got attacked.
Whoa. It's like a reprisal attack.
Yeah, so we had to leave.
Did you learn anything in terms of communication or keeping silence? Did you, from time to time, when we have experiences like it, we sit back and we reflect?
Yes. What for me, and this goes across the board, is if it doesn't concern me, I'm not getting involved. Yeah. Because I don't know why they are fighting. So I just try and stay clear of all that. Understand? And minding your own business at times really helps you.
So knowing when to speak, when not to speak, no matter the circumstances.
Yes.
Staying out of.
You don't always have to lift your head and make sure that everybody knows you are in the room. At times you just watch and learn. Yeah, you watch and learn, because everywhere has its own rules, and the rules are extremely different. Yeah. Like in Somali, you wouldn't even smile to a woman. Even if she likes you, you smile to her, you're dead.
Why?
That might be somebody's wife.
Oh, I see.
And for them, they view her very differently. You understand? With anybody else across Africa, you would relate with nicely, but with the Somalis, they like marrying themselves. So anything out of their norm is I've had friends that have been killed because of that. So it's something that it's just not in their culture.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
So when places like that, it's not just Somalia, you've gone through Somalia,
Yes,
you've
yes.
through South Sudan.
Yeah.
Are there peaceful people?
Yes. Very nice people. Everywhere you will find very nice people, very peaceful. Yeah, very welcoming. They would even do anything just to make sure that you're okay. Yeah.
Interesting. So wherever you are in the world, and no matter how bad it is there, you will always find it good.
Yeah, you were saying about Port Harcourt. I've been to Port Harcourt.
You have?
Yes.
No wonder when I said Port Harcourt, you repeated, you said Port Harcourt. Oh, really?
Yes, I've been.
You've been to all the interesting places in the world.
I've been to Port Harcourt. I've been to Abuja.
Good.
I've gone all the way through all those towns by road, all the way back to Lagos.
Oh, by road?
Yes.
That means you've seen Nigeria then.
Yeah, then I've moved from there to Cameroon, to Ghana, by road.
By road?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I've done a bit of work in Cameroon, in Ghana. So, yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Now, I know that before we started chatting, you said something about communication, and that you said something about the biggest challenge you had at some point was talking to people and asking for help.
Yes.
That is quite fascinating to me, because for someone who's worked in hostile places and survived, somehow you need help. You need to ask for help.
Yeah.
At the point when you are finding it hard to ask for help, what belief inside of you do you think was fighting you in that moment?
You know, the way you grow up and people you interact with, there's always something that we as Africans, we just have a culture of dealing with it. You understand? Okay. Dealing with it means that, like those places that I've mentioned and the experiences that I've gone through, it builds trauma. You understand? It builds trauma, and you feel like you just don't, at some point, you just don't want to be nuisance to other people. But it's maybe because you're just fighting with you.
Yeah.
You're fighting with your inner you. You're like, I just don't want to bother this person.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? I'll figure it out. And you try and try and try figuring it out. But some people would notice. They would just notice and be like, hey, I think you need help here. If you need anything, just let me know. You understand? It doesn't have to be material stuff. It could just be advice. Once I learned that art of just talking, I'm still a bit shy. I'm also a shy guy.
You just have a great smile.
Yeah, I'm just a shy guy. So I would see things differently, and at times just approaching somebody and just asking even for direction would be a very big problem. But we learn every day.
Do you think it's an African thing, or it's just a personality thing?
I think it's a personality thing.
Okay, but to a large extent also,
yes,
the personality, the way we develop is also a function to a large extent as to the places we've been exposed to, our experiences in life. I know that back home, for instance, in my case, my father was a very caring person, but he wasn't great at showing it. I think he was of the opinion if I show it, it weakens you. If the biggest sickness in Nigeria we still do have in Nigeria, it's common, is malaria. And malaria can kill. But I grew up in a household where you have malaria and you are shivering and everybody is looking at you to ascertain if you're serious. Because sometimes it's just fever and in 2 days you'll be fine. So why should the world stop because you're shivering?
Because you're shivering.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So you have to feel like your taste bud needs to go sour.
Mm.
You need to lose your appetite, and then they begin to go, all right, this
Mm.
is serious.
Mm.
And then first, let's check if we can go to the pharmacy and get something for you. Nobody's thinking the hospital yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Just pharmacy.
My father we had a car. We were okay to a
Yeah.
large extent, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and we had our own challenges, but we were at the point where he could actually take me to the hospital, sort of. But he needs to be sure you can fight it on your own. And that's just one case.
Yeah.
Not like he didn't care, but that's his way. I can tell you different things. I used to have those days when you get to SS3, that is senior secondary school 3, you begin to wear trousers instead of a pair of shorts. I got this brand new pair of trousers my father got for me.
Yeah.
And so the first day I was going to go to school, and I put everything out there. I brought the iron, and I wanted to really iron and make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
And the moment I placed the iron on my trousers and I lifted it, boom, I just burnt it.
Oh.
Now, let me tell you, George, I wore that pair of trousers for the rest of the year.